Refreshing and stimulating talk. Power 98.7. Now we're talking.
And of course, we're staying with that very arty musical theme. Because why? Because it's a Thursday and because we can. So, my next guest has launched a unique visual project that blends music with history. That blends music history with storytelling. He's the man behind a project called Guapiano Comics. This weekly graphic series aims to chronicle the evolution of Amapiano, South Africa's, we know that is now taking the world by storm. So he's doing this through fictionalized stories rooted in real life events and personalities. It's set against a backdrop of township life. Guapiano Comics explores the cultural heartbeat behind Amapiano. It covers the genre's rise from grassroots moments like local taxi rides and bedroom studios to its dominance on global stages and streaming platforms. Let's say hello to our guest tonight is DJ Da Crook. Good evening, man. How are you?
Yo, TT, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Good evening. Welcome, man. It's great to have you with us.
No, man, great stuff.
This is quite a project. Just to give us a sense of where let's talk about what Guapiano Comics works, what it's about, actually. Maybe let's start there, just to describe what the initiative and the project's all about.
Oh, man, I've got a rich history with the Amapiano sound. Dates back, I think, around 2012. And reason why I fell in love with Amapiano is obviously because I'm an 80s born baby and right into the 90s where white was a real thing, you know. So the first time I heard Amapiano, I think back in 2012, 2013, I knew that this was going to be like something that I want to be associated with, and I used to work on the radio just like you. I was actually the first DJ to have a 100% Amapiano platform on commercial radio back at YFM. Around 2019, moved to the UK, established another platform there, and then we did a nice project in a documentary format with the BBC, and so I've almost played the position of like an Amapiano mouthpiece.
Okay.
To be able to tell the story, man, because some of these guys are very talented in terms of the music making and the art and the actual art, you know.
Yeah.
But they don't do a lot of interviews. They don't tell a lot of their backstory. So I kind of assumed that position, and man, it almost opened me up to cool ways of telling the township story, the Amapiano story, and just the classic narrative, you know. That's great narrative.
Wait a minute, so this thing is quite it's something that they do very. They just don't do interviews. Because we have tried. I don't know how long I've been trying to get Kelvin Momo on the radio. It's still not happened. It's still not.
Man.
I can't even get him to give me a blue tick.
What are you trying to get a ticket?
No, I don't want a ticket. I just want the guy here, man. I love the guy's music. Yeah. So, but one thing that you just said now, you said you first came across Amapiano in 2012.
Yeah.
No way. Tell us more. And who was that artist?
The first guys actually do Amapiano and to discover Amapiano were a duo called MFR Souls. They're still making music. And they feel very prominent within the Amapiano space. And
MFR Soul, you say?
Yeah, they're from Katlehong. So those were the guys that literally started messing around with the sound. They basically used to take popular dance songs at that time, like you can take these songs to some of your jackknife, quite old school songs, and basically recreated like remixes of these songs, you know. So from a BPM perspective, it was a bit faster than White and but a lot slower than what house music sounded like at that period and point in time. And that's where the groove came from. And then around, I think 2014, 2015, there was another character called Mkushi RP. He discovered that lock drum. a distinct sound that we
Yes,
now
that defines,
associate
that
yes,
actually
with
defines the genre.
Amapiano.
Yeah.
Yes. So those were the early days, and those were the early milestones.
What is the story then behind the name Amapiano? Because Amapiano with no piano, what's the story there, guys?
So in the early period of the genre, it wasn't called Amapiano, it was called Inamba.
Inamba.
And
Okay.
yes, it was called Inamba, and it was just a colloquial word that was used in township because the genre did not have a sound. I mean, did not have a name, and people would just say, "Oh man, Ntoni dlala inamba,"
Sure.
meaning that, hey man, this guy is like playing like good music, And then over time, because the piano, almost like the solo pianos in the music were like a distinct factor before the log drum.
Right.
And then people started calling it Amapiano before the log drum came on. Yeah. And then,
Tell me
how Africa started running with the whole Amapiano narrative. And yeah.
And then how has it evolved in that in during the period that you've been following and being, as you said, the mouthpiece? You've been basically the champion of Amapiano here. Well, how would you describe its growth to the point where today, I mean, you've got Kabza Small and Maphorisa, who are considered the kings of Amapiano?
Yeah, so Amapiano's got a very, very beautiful story, man, and like I said, a reason why I gravitated towards it is because its story was very parallel to that of a Kwaito story, In 2012, obviously the Tema discovered the sound, started making remixes. In about 2014, 2015, Butte TRP discovers the log drum, and it becomes like the distinct sound. 2016, I started a radio entity called the Amapiano Hour on YFM. 2018, 2019, that's when Pori meets Kabza, and they create Scorpion Kings, and they drop that chart-topping and record-breaking album. And during COVID, the guys started figuring out and finding creative ways of creating content. When everyone was on lockdown, and then they started getting international bookings to your Tylers now that are winning Grammys and BETs and so on and so forth. So it's got a beautiful story of like these marginalized hood kids that basically make it against all odds, and that's the story of Amapiano.
And how did Kabza and Maphorisa meet?
So Maphorisa's got this eventing entity called Poriland. So it's like his eventing entity.
Okay.
He does it at a few venues, but for this particular one, he was doing it at Zombies venue in Soweto. And so Amapiano was starting to like take off, but it was still very underground. So guys like Kabza the Small, Soki, MFR Souls, and those kind of characters were still very underground, like house guys, you know what I mean? They're very well known around the street, but they're not very, very commercial.
Commercial,
Yeah, and Corey did something really, really dope by asking the guys around Soweto that who are the popular guys within Soweto that I can put on the show, so that even the people from Soweto and the locals can buy into the show, not buying tickets. And man, that's how Kabza and Pori met, just by virtue of trying to put on guys that were local, that were doing like the groundwork at the time.
Okay, let's fast forward now to Wapiano comics. As a concept, why did you decide to go the route of a comic, which is actually, a type of a genre that is, I don't want to say it's dying, but it certainly doesn't have the profile that it used to have when we were growing up, like in terms of comics and all of that,
So, I think it's quite the contrary, man. The global comic industry, as is a $4.6 million industry, So
well, as we actually, you're actually right. I mean, if that's otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have this. What is the conference that they have? Comic Con, or what is it?
Yeah, Comic-Con, and
Yeah.
there's now online platforms where I house my comic called Webtoons. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where we monetize our comic and so on and so forth. So, it's quite big at different in different markets of the world, but maybe not in South Africa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember in South Africa, it's Super Strikers. You definitely know of that one because it was sports orientated and it was soccer. So I started writing a book,
Okay.
just started randomly writing a book.
A history book.
And yeah, about my taste in the Amapiano genre and within the Amapiano space, just preserve, highlight these milestones, and just have like a nice written collection of moments that I think are cool and are going to be relevant to what Amapiano is going to inspire to become the next Amapiano, I think through writing that book, I kind of realized that maybe the book will be a nice way to preserve and archive what happened in Amapiano. But we live in a short form content kind of age, So how am I able to still tell the story without a person sitting for 10 days reading through this collection of ideas and experiences, And that's basically what I'm doing with Piano. I'm doing it in a very light-hearted way, a very quick read, highlighting facts and some of the big moments in the Amapiano genre.
Tell me more about the documentary that you spoke about that you did with the BBC.
So around 2022, just after the lockdown, Amapiano started becoming very, very big within the diaspora out in the UK. I think a lot of people, because they couldn't travel back to either Zimbabwe, Nigeria, or South Africa, were starting to look for things that remind them of home. So there was a big festival. I can't remember what it was called before. It was called Amafest. So Amafest was born. And what they did was like because Amapiano was basically the hardest working genre throughout COVID. They had the most amount of content, the latest content. There was studio camps. There was music that was coming out when no other genre was dropping music. They started booking Amapiano artists for that festival. And I was doing radio out in the UK, also in lockdown, and the BBC reached out, and they were like, "Hey, man, we like what you're doing. We like the Amapiano movement, so come work at the BBC, and maybe let's start conceptualizing a bit of a documentary." And we basically told the story of Amapiano from a BBC lens. So essentially, we're trying to tell the story of Amapiano to a kid maybe that stays somewhere in the corner of Manchester or or Fulham, you know what I mean, to introduce him to the sound and make it very palatable to that.
What is that called? What is that documentary called?
The documentary is called This is Amapiano, and it's on YouTube. It's got over 1 million views now,
Wonderful,
I think.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's definitely got over 1 million views. And yeah, man, it was well received locally and abroad, and I just got the spotlight on the Amapiano genre and the kind of guys that are in the space, or that were in the space then to now.
And I mean, we're just getting back to Wapiano Comics. Just in terms of, because obviously you're not printing, so it's online, yeah.
Yeah, it's online for now, but we are speaking to a few news outlets to see how we can collaborate from a distribution perspective. But I think we're very intentional about trying to keep it online, very accessible, and also free. Because it's super important that a kid that is sitting, whether in Sakane or Mamelodi, is able to get this kind of information. And however Amapiano is inspiring that kid, whether to be a doctor, to be a neurosurgeon, or to be a policeman, can get something that is tangible, speaks to people that grew up from the same environment that he's growing up in, you know what I mean? To kind of inspire young people that you too, in whatever part that you're walking, you can do it against all odds, you know?
All right. So this next question that I'm gonna ask you, and I don't wanna sound like I don't wanna pretend I know my stuff now, but it comes from my producer here. If I don't says I must ask you, or says I must, but I wanna, because now the next thing you're gonna start speaking in some technical language, and I don't know, I wouldn't have a clue what the hell you're talking about. He says I must ask you what you think about three-step house and whether you think it'll outlive Amapiano. And I'm like thinking, three-step what? What? I mean, three what? Huh?
I'm gonna sound very, 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 very Amapiano about this. I don't think Three Step House is going to outlive Amapiano because Three Step House is a brainchild of Amapiano. It borrows from the Amapiano sound. So it basically shows the dynamism of Amapiano by creating subgenres within the piano space. So I mean, you said you love Calvin Momo. He does a lot of soulful, they call it private school Amapiano, you know?
Yeah, okay. Is that what three-step house is? Oh, no.
So Three Step House is a mixture of Afro House with a bit of Amapiano.
Oh, okay. So I thought this private school thing is Calvin Momo's thing.
Yeah, the private school sound is the equivalent to a deep house, but a deep house that is Amapiano infused. So it's very musical, it's very well polished, you know what I mean, and could potentially play in a ballet show, you know. So it's that kind of sound, and then you find the sound that you find another subgenre that's more mellow and sleazy and more which is called guitar, you know, which is the popular sound, very grimy, very street, and very commercial, you know. And then there's another subgenre that is called guitar and Bacardi, you know, which is inspired by
yes, Bacardi is big in Pretoria.
How the Pretoria guys almost had their own sound and how they were able to infuse Amapiano within their traditional commercial sound.
Right. Now, you speak about, you were just saying there that when someone asks a question like, will it outlive Amapiano? You know, it presupposes that genres actually, that it could die. That would you say that is actually, I mean, like, how would you describe Kwaito, Gutran?
Kwaito is Kwaito's got many hands, you know. Kwaito was more than a music, you know, and Kwaito was a mouthpiece for freedom, you know. Kwaito was a vehicle that was able to help young black people, particularly to speak against the system, you know, of apartheid and inequality and so on and so forth, you know. That's what Kwaito meant to me from a deeper sense, you know. But it was also a sound of liberation for young black people, you know, similar to what Amapiano is. And I think if you do sit down and listen to certain Amapiano songs, it really speaks to the same inequalities that Kwaito spoke to, but in a very classism manner, you know, because I think South Africa is not really now about black and white, but it's about who has and who doesn't have, you know. So if you do listen to Amapiano, I mean, there's a song called Efulanana by Angelic and Kabza, you know. It speaks to a young guy that is going out to hustle for his family, you know. He's going to come back and he's going to make the house warm, and he's going to make he's going to make us almost like realize our dreams, you know. So those are the kind of nuances that you find in Amapiano music, which you can able to draw back to certain quite songs.
All right. Now, let me ask you this then, as an aficionado of Amapiano. What are you banging right now when you get in the car there?
Yeah. I'm listening to a lot of Calvin Momo. I think he's just brilliant, man. I think he just created like a really great sound that you can listen to on a Friday and just during the week, just to like actively listen. So I'm a big fan of Calvin Momo. I'm also a big fan of Kabza the Small. He just got the release date for his album called Babmoda, which is dropping on the 18th of July. So I think those are the two that I am really, 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 really waiting for. And I think Amapiano is also very inclusive, in terms of genders, you know what I mean? I listen to a lot of Babalwa, I listen to a lot of Thabiso and Tracy, and there's a lady called Nkosazana Dota.
Okay.
And when I do want to feel young within the Amapiano space, which I'm not anymore because I've been in the space for over 12 years now.
Yeah.
There's also a lady called Babi Kuba, So I think there's lots to find under the Amapiano umbrella, but it just really, really speaks to what your mood is at the time and how well you want to listen,
All right, I need you to pick a track for me. Then we can't have a conversation about Amapiano and not play Amapiano jam.
Yeah.
But also, it has to be. The condition is that there also has to be something that we have on our system. You don't have a go-to, because when you're playing a set, you don't have a go-to track when it's like the dance floor is a little bit cold and you want to rip things up a little bit.
I would say there's a song like Kabza and Mtunzi. Kabza and Mtunzi and Young Sana. No. Calvin Momo song Cry.
Cry.
It's the Calvin Momo.
Yeah.
The name of the song is called Song Cry.
I know the one. I don't know. I know that one. I know though. I don't know if we have it. Yeah. I don't know if we have it on the system. Otherwise, if we don't have it, we're just gonna play any Calvin Momo. That's okay.
Just play it. Yeah, I think your audiences will gravitate nicely to Calvin Momo.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick. We'll pick a Calvin Momo song. We'll do that. Kutlwano, thank you so much, man. Fascinating. Yeah, wow. I didn't know all of this, so I'm going to go check out this documentary as well, and I'll have a look at what you're doing as well with Amapiano Comics. And yeah, man, I'd love to have you come into the studio and chat some more about this musical genre and like also play music as well. So you can come and run a masterclass for us.
No, definitely, man. Let's have a follow-up once we go physical. So I can bring you a physical copy.
Oh, that'll be awesome. And then, can you come with Calvin Momo?
I'll reach out and let's see what he says.
Put in a word for me, man. Put in a word for me. Or just come with him. Just next time, you just come with him.
I'll reach out.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Da Crook! Thanks, man. Kutlwano Nhlapo, or DJ Da Crook, on the line to us there, talking to us about his project called Amapiano Comics, telling the story of Amapiano through comic strips.